Recently, the Phantom Theater in Warren, Vermont began another season at its historic barn, which is located in a beautiful spot within the hills of the Mad River Valley. So, what is this theater all about?
We started about 33 years ago, and basically our mission is to bring original work, and that can be in theater or dance, stand-up, music, but the big thing is that it be something that has been created originally, and often it's experimental. We sort of call ourselves a laboratory for creating new work and discovering, what it's all about, maybe along the way. Our audiences are really supportive of this, and sometimes it doesn't always work, but mostly we're lucky that it works out pretty good.
Over time, the mission of the theater has changed a bit.
So it started with two women from New York City, Kat Carr and Susie Jordan. They were actresses in New York, and through friends of friends found their way in their 20s to this area and thought it would be an amazing place to start a theater company. Back in that time, the mission was more to just do a play and do it creatively, but an existing work. So I think one of the very first performances was Crimes of the Heart by Beth Henley, and that is an existing play. At that point, it was about bringing in local people to work with them, artists from New York, and create something kind of vital and new in the Valley. We weren't at the barn at this point. I think a few shows were done at the Warren Town Hall back when it wasn't the library. There might have been a few other venues. But that's how it started. And now it has become much more, in some ways, elaborate. This summer we have 13 different events. One of the things that's different is that often now what comes to us is already ready-made. It's already been created somewhere. It's an original piece that's coming from New York or Boston or Chicago or LA, and then we're presenting it. There's a few in-house things that we will actually create here. It's actually happening with Kat Carr, one of the founders, and Pamela Ricard are both working on an original piece that they are using local people this summer called Mating in Captivity, and that's in July. So it's sort of a mixed bag of things, but it has evolved to being, I would say, in some ways more of a production house for original works. Every once in a while something is actually created here just for the season. And let's see, a little bit of history. We've probably been at the barn here for, my goodness, maybe 15 years, longer than that. I wish Jim Edgecombe were here. Jim and Lexi own this barn and have been our gracious hosts all this time. It's probably more like 18 years at this point. And since then is when we started like really producing more, being able to produce more work because we had a home that we could call our own, which is great. This is a Sears Roebuck kit from the 1930s, where they used to just order a barn in a box, and it came as such, and I'm sure they had no idea it was going to get turned into a theater venue way back when, but it was, I think, a functioning barn originally, and it did come in a box.
Given its longevity, how has the Phantom Theater received its continuous support, and what does the future hold?
We are really supported locally by the businesses who sponsor us in the program, by the audience who comes year after year after year, and by the artists who are willing to not always get necessarily paid the most, but are paid in exchange for being able to do their work. So between those three things, and then I would also include like some additional donors that will just just help out in pinches, like if we need a new light system or we need a new flooring or those kinds of things. So I'm counting on that to continue. It doesn't seem to be slowing down. Our audiences continue to be very vital and thriving. People, I feel like after all these years, we are like a known entity, and I think it's going to keep on going. We're going to keep on offering stuff, and people seem to keep on coming, and it's great.
For more information about upcoming performances, please visit the Phantom Theater website at phantomtheater.org. Keith Berkelhammer, Mad River Valley Television.